I want to talk to you today about inspiration, contradiction, and progressive revelation as it pertains to biblical instruction. And I want to start out by saying that anytime you consider any historical documentation, including the Bible, you have to ask yourself several questions in order to be able to understand it in the context that it was written. So some of the questions you need to ask is, who wrote it? And who were they writing to at that time? What might have been the recipient's understanding? What was going on culturally at that time? Are there things like idioms or figures of speech that are being used in the context that we might not understand today? And also recognizing that culturally what was happening at the time, some things were written, is very different from the culture that we're experiencing today. And we have, if you will, socially evolved from perhaps when some of those truths were revealed initially. A perfect example of this is if you take in context Romans 6, 7, and 8. If you just read or teach from Romans 6 or just from Romans 7 or just from Romans 8, you may come to a very different conclusion about the full understanding of the grace of God and who we are in Christ than when you read all three of those chapters together. You know, truthfully, the letters that Paul wrote were intended to be read as a whole and not chapter and verse like we often break them down. And so we have to take them in context in order to fully understand what it is that the author at that time is trying to say.